Hi, it's Bonner again, and today we're going to talk about our second lesson in how do I retire my capo. So let's go over the basic concepts of the capo, and today we're going to talk about what a capo is actually doing and understanding what a capo is actually doing to our tuning, to our chords on our guitar. Okay, so to start with, we have a song. In this case, we're going to work with the song that I opened with. It's my own original song called The Circle. So the song is just C, G, F, and then C, and then G. Okay, so that's our song, and that's called a 1-5-4. And we're going to come back to this 1-5-4 concept. But in this particular case, let's briefly talk about the 1-5-4. The 1 chord in this case is the C. Okay, the 5 chord is the G, and the 4 chord is the F. I'm going to put a link here to a little brief explanation of the 1-5-4 that's enough for us to get going with. We don't want to get bogged down in too many rabbit holes. Okay, so we have this song, but we try to sing the song, and lo and behold, we have to sing it a little bit higher. That's what we're doing with the capo, okay? Okay, so then what we do is we need the song a little bit higher. We have to put the capo on. So we're going to put the capo on, and in lesson 1 I talk about putting the capo on in more detail. I'm not going to talk about it in more detail here. I'm going to put a link to the first lesson if you need to review that. So let's say that I'm a male singer singing a male song, and I have a female singer working with me. She needs the song a little bit higher. So I'm going to put the capo on, in this particular example, at the 4th fret. Now, I squish the capo down, it should be in 2. I've got the capo on at the 4th fret, now I'm a little bit higher. Okay, to understand what the capo is doing, we have to understand our song a little bit and then understand the action of the capo. Well, let's go back and talk about our song in very simple terms. Our song starts off with the chord C, and we also have the chord G, and we have the chord F. So one by one, we're going to look at these chords and we're going to look at what the action of the capo is. And we can do this without getting into a lot of theory initially. Eventually, we want to get into a little bit of theory, but not today. To start off with, our first chord is the chord C. The note here on the 3rd fret of the A string is the note C, and that's the root note of that chord shape. So then if I move that root position of the C chord somewhere else, I'm still playing the shape of a C, but it's going to have a different musical value. It's going to be transformed into a different chord. And that's what we're doing. That's what the capo does, is it changes your chord from one chord to another chord, but without changing what you have to play. In a nutshell, that's what the capo does. So I'm playing a chord C. Now what happens is, if we're putting the capo on 4, we're moving the root note of the chord up by 4 frets. So I'm starting at 3, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 frets higher, and 4 frets higher than 3 is 7. 3 plus 4 equals 7, okay? Now, if we look at my notes on the neck diagram that's on your screen right now, you can see that the note on the A string at the 7th fret is the note E. So then, if I put this capo on the 4th position, as we have said that's what we're going to do in this song, and I play my ordinary chord C here, then that chord C has now become an E. The chord that shape is now going to sound matches or is named after the root note of the note on the A string. So in this case, the root note is the note on the A string at 7, and that is the note E. So this, even though it looks like a C, when I play it in this position with the capo at 4 and the root note on 7, that becomes the chord E. Okay? Now, let's look at the other 2 chords in this song, and we'll go through the same process. The next chord is a chord G. And the root note of the G chord is the 3rd fret on the low E string. So when I put the capo on, what I'm doing is I'm putting the capo on at 4. I'm going to move the root note of this G chord up by 4 frets. So let's look at what that is. It goes up to G sharp, A sharp, B. Okay, so now if I put my capo on at the 4th fret, and then I hold down my G chord normally as if the capo was the 0 fret. Now I'm still playing the shape of a G, but the value of that chord, the musical value of that chord, is now the chord B, because the root note on the 7th fret of the low E string is the note B, and that root note dictates the triad, or dictates the pitch of the chord that I'm creating. Even though it looks like a G, it's now a B. Let's look at the one last chord that is in this song. It's an F, okay? Now, I'm playing the F here at the 1st fret, so my F is going to get raised by 4 frets, okay, when I put the capo on. So that's going to be F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So if I put my capo on at the 4th fret, then this F chord is now an A. Okay, so let's just write these down. If you have a little scrap of paper, your opening chord was a C, and then just draw now. I'm going to put some diagrams up here on the screen for you. Our opening chord was a C, but when we move C up by 4 frets, it becomes an E. So draw the C, an arrow to the E, and this is our transposing map. I'm going to put a link to how to transpose songs. If you want to jump ahead to the theory behind what we're doing here, I have a whole video already prepared that'll take you through the process of transposing any song, which is what we're doing. Today, we're just looking at a basic version of how to do that using the capo, and we're letting the capo teach us about transposition. Later on, we're going to loop back and look at the stuff that's in this linked video, and we're going to talk about transposing and what we're actually doing when we're moving a song from one set of chords to another. For today, our first chord was the chord C, and when I move it up here so that the root note is on the 7th fret, that chord becomes the chord E. My second chord was the chord G, but when I move it up to the 7th fret on the E string, now that chord becomes the chord B, because the note on the E string at the 7th fret is the note B. Okay? And my third chord in this song was the chord F. But when I move the chord F up the neck by 4 frets, I end up with my root note of the F being on the 5th fret of the E string, and that note on the 5th fret of the E string is the note A. So this chord now becomes an A chord. Okay? So that's all I wanted to talk about today, is just talk about the exercise of what the capo is doing for us. We're going to look at this more in future episodes about how do we retire our capo, but we're beginning to get the idea of what the capo does. And if we know what the capo does, then we can learn how to do the exact same thing ourselves. My name is Bonner. If you want to learn some more basics about some of these activities that we're doing, I'm going to post some videos here over my shoulder, and please have a look at them if you're interested. There are going to be future lessons in how to retire your capo coming very shortly, so come on back and look at them. And we're going to try and make them bite-sized like today, so they don't drag on too long, so they're easy to wrap your head around. Hope you'll come back and visit me soon. Please like the video if you like the video. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff.